this is a project that I want to do for a really long time. I feel like a lot of you guys don't even know that I have this car, and it's just because I don't really show it on here anymore because it seems like everybody hates Teslas now.
Well, at least win! Well, at least! Wow! Come to think of it, at least!
But yeah, the problem here, I got a flat tire, brought it to the shop, and yeah, the wheel was cracked on the back. So I luckily found new ones on Marketplace. That one's cracked now too. But yeah, the new one is gray. So obviously, since we're repainting it, we have to take off all the trim, all the other wheels, and every other thing that I wanted to paint anyways. The wheels have a really bad curb rash. The front wasn't for me. The back I curbed twice, but that was just karma because I rented a Tesla once and I curbed the wheel really bad and I didn't say anything to the owner and he didn't charge me for it. So I deserve that. But today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to paint match exactly to your factory paint, whatever paint color you want. So the factory paint is a metallic black. I've always wanted to see what wheels look like in metallic, and I thought the trim would look cool paint matched as well. So we're doing all of it. So here's the process. This is why I needed to paint the wheels. They're super curved from the last owner. Other than being curved, the paint's also just really dull and they didn't do a very good job, whoever they had painted. As for the trim, I wrapped all this previously, but I didn't do the best job, so it was all peeling, looked really bad. So we're just gonna paint all the chrome trim as well. So the first step is you wanna take everything apart. This wasn't very easy. Over here, it was an extreme pain to get off. You just don't be scared. Take off what you want to paint. If you break too much stuff, always remember, it can only cost you all of your money, so it's fine. So yeah, once you've got everything taken apart, get it laid out. I'm gonna take this apart a little bit more. If you didn't want to do something like this, you could just mask around it, but I'm gonna take it apart because I think it'll be easier. So here we are. My wheel goes flat, and this is how things end up. But this is kind of how everything works out for me. I have one thing happen and then I'm like, well, I might as well do the trim and I might as well do the mirrors. I might as well do the trim piece on the back bumper. I might as well fix the charge door. We're getting all your stuff taken apart. We can move on to step 2. So here's how the next part of the process goes. I take all the parts that are getting painted and I'm taking 600 grit sandpaper or Scotch-Brite, and we want to wash everything off super good. The things that don't really need it, I'm not going to wash because a big thing that we're trying to avoid is called fish eyes. They're kind of like the eye of Ender, but we don't want these ones. So if you use the wrong soap or the wrong chemicals, then you're gonna get fish eyes all over and it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to redo it. One good option, I believe, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but Dawn dish soap is a pretty good option. So clean everything off and then take your 600 grit and just get everything a nice even layer. So when you're done sanding, it should look more like this rather than this. Just try to imagine all those soccer moms with the $100,000 SUVs whose paint looks like this. Basically, that's how you want to make it look. This is just a representation to show how long some of this takes too. If you have basic wheels, it'd be easy, but with these wheels having so many curves and everything, I want to get in every single little spot, because if you don't get any spots sanded down or scuffed up, then the paint is not going to want to stick to it, and that's where it's going to crack, and then it's going to continue everywhere else. Just make sure everything's sanded nice. This is where things get a little wild. Everything is sanded down, nice, even, flat surface on everything. This is the most elaborate painting setup I've ever done. Usually I'll just set something outside and spray it, but I really want to try learning how to spray with a like compressor and a spray gun. So that's what I'm going to be trying this time. This process works the exact same. If you want to get the paint matched paint and spray cans, you can do that, and I'm pretty sure it's around the same price. And then you can do all this outside as well. But after everything's sanded nice and has a, where's a good example? Scuffed up but completely smooth surface, what I like to do is I take this glass cleaner. It's a super good cleaner. Use whatever kind of painting rags you want to use to wipe them down. And I spray everything, wipe it down super good. Wear gloves so you don't get oil on anything. And everything is nice and wiped down. So this is all masked off what I had to. we're gonna do next is prime.
From the screen.
So I normally don't like to use primer or anything because I just want to spray it and get it done, but since we're trying to do it as nice as possible, I am going to be using some out of the can sealer primer. The sealer is supposed to just kind of seal up the imperfections, especially with something like that, make it more smooth. And then with the chrome, nothing usually likes to stick to these. That's why you really got to scratch them up. So I'm hoping that the sealer primer will help the paint stick a little bit better as well. At this point, I'm going to give everything a little coat of this that I think needs it. I'm not going to do these. And then we'll mix the paint, spray it, mix the clear, spray it, done. Like I said, just kind of hit all the pieces that you're worried about the paint sticking to with a nice light layer. Don't forget when you're doing this stuff too, wear a mask. These pink ones are really good. The only area that I'm really now worried about once you do that, which is good because you do that to find stuff like this, but I thought that was smooth. It's obviously not, so I'm gonna have to do something to fix that. Maybe I'll fill it with more primer and then sand it down or what. But yeah, that needs fixed. Before we get into the paint and everything, I just want to say I'm not a professional spray gun user like this. Usually at all my projects, we're just out back with a spray can. But like I said, I'm trying to do them a little bit nicer. So this is like my second or third time using a gun like this. But don't take that as I don't know what I'm doing, because just wait and see how nice these parts turn out. So we got the Harbor Freight gun, obviously. I like the green one. It's just like $2 more than the other one, but I think it's a little bit nicer. And then I've got this guy that's gonna collect the condensation from the air compressor. This guy, pressure regulator, so you can see kind of what you're spraying at. And then that's it. I've got the thread sealer tape on everything, and that's it. Since I just unboxed this and put it together, I'm gonna put some water in there. We're gonna connect it, and we're gonna go spray it and kind of test how we need to adjust it. Okay, we're connected to the hose. From what I've read, apparently you want to be within 15 to 20 PSI for base coat and then 25 to 30 for clear. I don't know how true that is, but let's adjust this down to like 20 and kind of see how it sprays. So I've been messing with this for like 15 minutes. Honestly, what you want to do is just twist the dials a bunch of times. The top one right here, I think, does the fan size. It makes it smaller and wider. And then this one, I believe, controls how much of the paint it lets out, and then this one controls how much of this it lets into it. And when I say adjust your dial, adjust it to when you click it where it goes. So I'm at about 20. So I think I've got it kind of where I want it. You can see that little dry spot right there. You want it where when you go over it, it makes it wet, but it doesn't make it obviously dripping wet straight off the bat. So I think that's where I'm gonna be at. I'm gonna put the paint in it and test, but yeah. Let's go for it. Okay, paint match paint. You're gonna wanna go to your local paint supply store and tell them your paint code. This Tesla one is PMBL. For something like this, I got a quart. Hopefully I don't have to get more. This ended up being 170 with everything else. But what they'll likely do is come back and say, okay, here you go, your total is $579. No, usually there's a cheaper option. This one was the cheaper option, and for everything, like I said, $170. So I got the base coat, medium reducer, clear coat, and I got some hardener. I also got some stir sticks, filters, and mixing cups. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We got the base coat mixed around a bit, and then we've got our measuring cup here. Pour it through the filter. I'm gonna go to a 5. Since we want a 2-to-1 ratio with this, they'll usually tell you what ratio to do when you pick up the paint. I'm trying to remember what they said to do for the clear and all that, but for this, I know that it's 2-to-1. So we're gonna get to the 5 here. Okay, it's gonna go a little bit above it. Oh, I don't know where to put this. Fuck, I don't want to do that. There you go, try that. Don't you fucking spill. Where's the lid? Okay, 2-to-1 ratios. I'm a little bit above the 5, so that's 2. And then I'm gonna take the reducer, 2-to-1. So for the 1, let's go to the 5, a little bit above it again. Okay, after struggling with this child lock lid for 15 minutes, I finally got it open. So let's take our reducer and reduce. Damn, I'm spilling everywhere. Where am I? just past the 5. And there we are. And of course, I already just spilled it all over me. But before we start, we're gonna test out the spray pattern again, so. And I think I'm fine with that, right? Okay, let's go for it. You guys probably aren't gonna be able to hear me with the mask on, but I'm somewhat okay with how this went, other than the frustration of leaking all the paint out the top. But I've got the first coat on. We don't want to do a crazy, super thick coat for the first coat. You just want to have it basically almost fully covered, as you can see. So, here we go. Those are all right. Not very happy with that. But I ran out, so I'm going to have to mix some more and get a first coat on this and the back sides of these. But, like I said, I got an okay first coat. This Tesla paint is kind of funny. It's like a green when it first comes out, and then it dries black. It also took me a while to get used to using the gun and kind of comfortable. But I also had to adjust it to let a little bit more paint out, because with this one, it was just kind of coming out not very good. So I made more come out and it came out smoother. So yeah. Okay, we poured some lacquer thinner in there, clean out the old paint so that we can clear coat with the same gun. Once it comes out clear, you should know it's pretty clean in there. So let's go mix up the clear coat 4 to 1 to 1. And you'll know you're ready to clear when your paint is nice and flat, nice and dry. Sweet. So let's turn up the pressure on this to like 25 and go for it. So now we've got the gun all cleaned out again with some lacquer thinner. You want to clean it as best as possible after you're done using it, so that way when you come back, of course it's only like 25 bucks to get a new one at Harbor Freight, but it's nice if you just got a clean one ready to go, already adjusted and all that. And here is the final product for these. I haven't even gotten to take the car out and drive it yet, because the shop that I brought the wheels to mount the tires still have them like 2 weeks later. It's crazy. But I'm excited to see how everything looks out in the sun. But if you guys like this video and you're gonna try this out, you don't have to hit the like button and subscribe. But if you don't, then all the paint will peel off in like 2 days. So